So helmets, interesting subject when you start delving into the whole world of helmets. It's something that can divide opinion in some cases. You get a lot of people that believe that it shouldn't be compulsory, which is fair enough, I can understand that. But I think one thing that is certainly agreed by all is that if you're going to wear one that's going to do the job. And certainly after a certain period of time, when a helmet is a certain age, it certainly stops doing what it's supposed to do. And again, there's a wide kind of spectrum as to what people believe is a decent age to swap the helmet. It can be anything from 3 years to 10 years. The reality, and is what we truly believe, is that if you've had 5 good years out of a helmet, then it's definitely time to change. 5 good years of use. It's things like UV rays, heat, sweat, humidity, the odd little dink as you're throwing them around in the back of the car. Various factors really ultimately mean that the materials will have degraded, and the helmet's going to be nothing like as safe as it was when it was new. So even if you don't have a date on the inside of your helmet, just have a think about how long you've had it, how many years it's been used for, and certainly around that 5-year period, it's going to be time to change it. It's pointless wearing a helmet if it has degraded, if it's an old helmet and it isn't going to do anything for you should you need it. There are also other factors as well which might encourage you to change your helmet. Design, things have moved on quite a bit in the last few years. We've now got additional safety features such as MIPS, kinetic core. They look better, they're lighter, the ventilation's better. So irrelevant of the age really, ultimately there's some really good helmets out there. I've taken my own advice and swapped my helmet. It was certainly 5 years old, and I've got this brand new Laser Z1, which I have to say is superb. It's really obvious, it's really noticeable, the difference in the weight, the ventilation, and it is fair to say that God didn't think about helmets when he designed my head, but this one fits pretty well. So with that in mind, let's go and have a look at some helmets.
So 4 styles of helmet to consider. Firstly, the road helmet. Road helmets tend to be slightly lighter, certainly more ventilation, more compact, and typically with no visor on the front, no peak, just as that's going to obscure your view. Then you have that kind of multi-purpose helmet, very similar to a road helmet, available in lots of different colours as with the road helmet, but will often have a little bug net in the front and also a visor. Then we have mountain bike helmets. Mountain bike helmets will certainly have a much bigger peak on the front and chunkier with a lot more protection around the back, and that's certainly the case for those kind of open face mountain bike helmets, and then also obviously full face as well. Then the final category that you'll find is this kind of commuter style helmet. Tend to have a slightly different design, different shape, less ventilation for warmth if you're commuting all year round, and also in some cases will have additional kind of security features for visibility. So you might have rechargeable lights built in to the rear, and in some case indicators. Kids helmets is very similar, full face, open face mountain bike, and then that kind of all-purpose helmet, and typically in a couple of different sizes, from kids to youths, as they often call it, or junior helmets. Then, probably most importantly, is the 4 categories of additional safety. Trek have a system called WaveFlex, and you can see this kind of corrugated design inside the helmet. What that's going to do for you is give you additional protection laterally from any kind of impact. That's going to compress, and also rotationally, so any kind of rotation. So if you happen to hit the deck, then it's the helmet that's going to twist and not your neck or head. So a really good system from Trek called WaveFlex. Something that Laser came up with a couple of years ago, which is superb, which works in a very similar way, or does a very similar thing to the Waveflex, is Kinetic Core. So you can see the shape of the internal of the helmet. You've got these kind of crumple zones, these blocks, these polystyrene blocks that are there to design, again, to give you that lateral impact protection, as I say, designed like crumple zones, but also this rotational protection. So those blocks will snap off if your head is forced in a particular way to protect your head and your neck. So that's Kinetic Core. Then the one that most people have heard of is MIPS. MIPS has been around for quite a long time. It's come from, I think, the motorbike industry. You also see it in snow sports, I think in horse riding as well. MIPS is an internal shell that again is designed to protect your head and your neck from any kind of rotational force. So it's the helmet that will twist instead of your head and your neck. The only downside with MIPS or traditional MIPS is it's adding product to the helmet, so often can make the helmet a little bit heavier, the fit's slightly different, and possibly less ventilation. But MIPS is tried and tested to be a fantastic system. Giro took that one step further and have come up with spherical MIPS. So spherical MIPS is essentially two parts to the helmet. You've got the internal shell, which is the part of the helmet that sits on your head and fits really snugly. And in this case, it's the outer shell that rotates. So it does exactly the same thing as traditional MIPS, but it gives you a lighter, better ventilated helmet. So that's spherical MIPS. So you've got Waveflex, Kinetic Core, MIPS, and spherical MIPS. And some helmets won't have any of those, and they're perfectly safe helmets, but those four additional safety features are definitely worth looking out for. The Z1 from Laser is the helmet I was wearing earlier. Super light helmet, really low profile, and that features the Kinetic Core design, which I particularly like. It is very noticeable, the additional ventilation and weight. That's us. Hope you enjoyed that. Something a little bit different. Next week I promise, look at the brand new Cannondale Synapse. We've got a couple of them now in store. Fantastic new endurance bike. So we'll have a look at the Cannondale Synapse next week. Cheers, have a great weekend. See you soon.